All right. Second topic. We talked about this a week ago, I want to say, on Colin and Greg Live.
About a week ago. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube is preparing to relaunch its live streaming platform with a renewed focus on live gaming and esports specifically, according to sources within the streaming industry. This is from the Daily Dot.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. The Google-owned online video behemoth, which tried and failed to acquire streaming giant Twitch last year, has watched the growth of esports with great interest and is looking to acquire broadcast content and talent within the industry. Blah, blah, blah. They keep talking about how important all this stuff is to them and all that shit. What's interesting is YouTube has already begun recruiting of a formidable team, with one source pegging the number at 50 engineers with expertise in the streaming industry. And that's a pretty big statement of intent, one source said. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to talk way more about this at E3, June 16th to 18th.
I'm...
My phone never rings. That was bizarre. Sorry. My ringtone is, of course, Super Player. I don't know why. I've never gotten a phone call, I guess, with the sound turned up.
It's not even my phone. I don't know why it's in my pocket.
Sorry, I stole this from a child today.
All right, so YouTube, it's gonna have a Twitch competitor, and they're gonna announce it or talk about it at E3. They had YouTube Live for all these years. About 4 years ago, I think they launched it, and like they'd always do like big music festivals and all that stuff. And I think the first thing they ever did was some random sport that Americans don't play, cricket or some shit like that, right? Yeah. They showed cricket, and then people were like, they heard crickets, and then then gaming started, so they started doing more live stuff. At IGN, we used to use it all the time, but it's Google Plus came out. There's Google Hangouts, and people use Google Hangouts in the live. Google's always had they've done live. They do it pretty well, but then Twitch came and was like, "Yo, we're
gonna eat
way
your lunch.
better than you at this."
I'm really excited for it because I feel like they could push each other. I mean, competition, right? They're gonna push each other to do better. If you look at the streaming industry right now, Twitch is like the king, and then if you look at anywhere else, like I don't know, Hitbox, I think it's called, or even MOG TV would be the best example. Everything is a copy of Twitch and what they do. So I think that they could do things that could be very interesting, and just push.
Someone needs to push Twitch.
Yeah,
that's what we've talked about. The fact the messaging is terrible, like the actual messaging system is terrible. The fact that there's not on-demand archives forever that play and don't buffer forever is terrible. The fact that you embed the player and it's like 4x3 and little and small, it's like, what is going? I thought when they got all the Amazon money, they would quickly start flipping switches and making it a better experience. But then like 2 weeks ago, it was down for all over the place.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, to me, it's funny because Amazon made sense. There's a sort of parallel nature between Amazon and Twitch in the sense that Amazon has a very viable streaming service that I think rivals and is even better than Netflix in some ways. So you would think that it would work better, but they're not in the same wheelhouse, and it almost makes you wish that YouTube actually was the one that bought Twitch. And they tried, but that would have made more sense and fit more like a puzzle piece into what they were doing. That said, I'm interested to see like what it's all about. I like Twitch. I'm not like crazy impressed by it. Like I think that seems a little, I don't want to say antiquated, but it just seems a little. It's not antiquated. That's not the right word at all. But it's lacking. You know what I mean? Like it's not consistent. YouTube's consistent. In my experience using it, maybe not on the back end. It's certainly not consistent.
Yeah.
But on the front end, it is very consistent. And so it makes you wonder like what they can do. And certainly my mind's open to what possibilities are there for us as a unit and for Colin and Greg Live and everything too. Just in the sense that I want to go, the competition, like Alfredo was saying, will breed excellence or breed something that is better than exists already. But I don't know. They are. Well, you assume an average engineer in Silicon Valley makes about, I don't know, 150, and they have 50 of those guys that they just hired and gals. So I mean, they're putting an impressive amount of capital into it, but that's like Google wipes its ass with that much money, but it's but they are putting time and effort into figuring it out. My question to you guys, because you know this better than I do, is wasn't there a platform called Ustream?
Yeah, I mean, Ustream is still a thing,
and that doesn't. They don't know.
There's a whole bunch of different like streaming platforms, but it's the same thing like YouTube. Like Dailymotion's still a thing, AOL Video's still a thing. Like they just don't matter. Like they exist and enough people use them for them to sustain themselves, but it's like they're not YouTube.
Yeah, like who's using Ustream is like a
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan uses YouTube.
I think we were just talking about this yesterday with Nick, but yeah, like he exclusively uses Ustream as his like
Interesting
streaming platform.
He must get money for that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's why do people use like all these other ones? There's deals, you know, and there's like some people sign contracts and they're stuck using exclusive platforms and all that.
Yeah, there was a lot of pro Call of Duty players that got exclusive deals with MLG TV when they started really pushing their own platform, and so that's why they all flocked over there.
Are they seeing growth on these platforms via these? You know, like is Ustream growing too? Is MLG growing too?
I mean, I'm sure, I don't know about the MLG, but like with the Ustream, with Joe Rogan specifically, I'm sure it's just that's what his audience uses. So it's kind of like with our audience in Twitch where, I mean, I don't have the hard numbers, but I'm pretty sure most of our audience we brought to Twitch, not they were at Twitch and kind of like.
Oh, no, we brought that up on the show, I think, and
Grabbed us.
people did confirm that anecdotally.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's the same thing where it's just like Joe Rogan said, go on Ustream, so his audience went on Ustream. What I'm interested about is like I love the competition angle of this because it's gonna push things to be better because Twitch needs to be pushed farther and YouTube needs to be pushed farther because YouTube is owning the on-demand video shit. Twitch is owning the live video shit. So they both need to get better in the other ways. It worries me that instead of focusing at what they're good at, they're gonna start trying the other stuff and just messing it up. Like even like I saw there was an update to Twitch today. Like the mobile apps have like the auto playing videos just like the YouTube does, and that's great, but it's like the more they focus on all this other stuff that YouTube already does well instead of like pushing what they're doing to make it even better, it's just going to be then we're just going to have two things, and that sucks in a lot of ways.
But I mean, will they? I mean, if YouTube gets it together and comes out with a streaming platform that doesn't like right when we had to go use YouTube, right? The comments where it's buffering, it's doing this YouTube thing. If they can sort out those problems, then I mean, would we stick around with Twitch? It would solve so many problems for us.
That's my thought too. Is I actually think that YouTube has every opportunity to squash Twitch.
Well, I mean, that's
I don't think that it's going to. I don't think it's possible the other way. Like Twitch might master. Like I actually think that YouTube could destroy Twitch.
Well, I mean, that's kind of,
and I don't think that Twitch could destroy YouTube.
What I'm saying is like I don't want Twitch to be focusing so much on trying to be YouTube. Like YouTube, yeah, they have the money and all the different things to do that, and like it's shocking how bad, quote unquote, their live experiences. It's really not that bad. We're just fucking spoiled.
Yeah,
like we're at a point now where it's like if things aren't perfect and we don't have all these.
I'm periscoping from my phone.
Yeah, like we're super mad about stuff, but it's like their service is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But then there's things that Twitch has that need to be on YouTube, like moderators. But then again, it's like, why don't YouTube videos in general have moderators?
Right.
That's something that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And like, there's all these dumb little things that they can add or learn from Twitch, like the multi-Twitch. What's that called?
Oh, yeah, multi-Twitch streaming is amazing.
It's awesome when you get to watch two people streaming at once, like see both their chat rooms and all that stuff. Like, that's great, and YouTube needs all that shit. And we'll see. I mean, we've talked to people, like, they are trying to push gaming and trying to do all that stuff. I think, to me, the biggest news from this is the fact that they're talking about it at E3.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard this rumor being gone or whatever. Did they say where?
That's what we were talking about when we first talked about it. I was like, I wonder if they will do it during one of the conferences.
Yeah, you figure
and if
they
so,
have to.
it doesn't make any business sense, as Tim had brought up, for them to do that. It makes great business sense for someone like Sony or Microsoft to give YouTube space, especially if they've worked out an exclusive deal with them, which is entirely possible because that's going to help them with the hardcore gaming segment. You know,
but as we were talking about, bless you. We hope that doesn't happen.
That's enough.
Damn. We hope that doesn't happen because if it's like Twitch was when it first came out and it was only on Xbox, right? And PS4 got it later?
No, PS4 still doesn't have a Twitch app.
Okay, well, exactly. That's a freaking issue. You know, completely. And I really would not want to see YouTube come out with PlayStation and be like, yeah, Xbox, you'll get it one day. It's like, no, this needs to be a big thing for gamers, all gamers. Right. All the people that are into streaming, all the people that are into watching videos. Like, this needs to be a huge movement, and that will be a big step towards not killing Twitch, but at least getting a bigger piece of that market share that they need. And the trust of the people, like, really it comes down to the people streaming. Like, what's going to convince Alfredo to leave Twitch?
Well, see, that's the thing, though, that I worry about is will they start implementing contract restrictions, right? And I think it's already in the Twitch contract. I don't know. I just remember when Twitch was down during those weeks, there was a lot of Twitch partners with larger channels that are saying, hey, guys, be careful if you're a partner and you decide to stream on a different platform. It's like against the terms of service, I think.
Yeah, like to me, when I think about this situation, I think about YouTube and I think about Twitch as platforms. Because we're talking about the difference between, and the inherent difference between a streaming service and then a VOD service, right? And I think that, in fact, YouTube has mastered VOD. Twitch has not mastered streaming. So that gives them, YouTube pioneered what we think about when we think about video on demand on the internet. And that, frankly, is a way more important pillar to have mastered. So, the hard work for them is actually done. The supplemental part of, having a streaming service that works better is kind of icing on the cake of YouTube already dominating that space, which is why I think that Twitch should be very afraid of YouTube. Because, and certainly, like I said, my mind's open to see what we will do with YouTube when they start rolling this stuff out, because YouTube is a more prolific platform. There are way more people over there. It makes a lot more sense inherently to be there. Twitch has to master VOD, which is good, but that is the more important piece of the puzzle. I mean, we see that with Colin and Greg Live, where it's if you're not there for the stream, you're kind of fucked. Especially if you're not a Twitcher or a Twitch user rather that pays to have more than a 14-day catalog, a back catalog. There's a lot of problems for them to solve. I think YouTube's going in for the killing blow. I got to be totally honest with you. I don't think that this is kind of a piecemeal kind of thing. I think they're going to try to kill them. And I think that that's what a business does. YouTube has done it to countless companies already. Look at our low tolerance for something like Vimeo. When we were trying to use Vimeo for video on demand for Patreon users, we were just fuck this shit. This shit sucks. You know what I mean? It wasn't working for us or whatever. YouTube works, and so we use it. If they can get to that point with streaming, then Twitch is in a lot of trouble. And I think that moreover, I'm interested to see how they approach the esports kind of goal in terms of the games that people watch, which is not only Call of Duty and stuff like that, not only Evo, but more MOBAs and stuff like that. Are there people that are just loyal to Twitch?
I mean, yeah,
and that's the thing you have to kind of think about.
I think it's that, but it's also just the stuff that I don't think YouTube will ever do, and I would love to be proven wrong on this, but yes, they're gonna try to go for the killing blow, and honestly, they're definitely capable of doing that, but they do have Amazon money on Twitch's side, so it's they could fight back. They're one of the few people now that actually can fight back, but I think that Twitch has such unique things, just the emoticon, the culture of it, emoticons and tipping and all these different things.
YouTube just has to copy that and then improve on it.
But that's the thing.
That's it.
They'll know they're a copy.
They'll know they're a copy, but I just don't see them doing that stuff. And at the end of the day, guess what? You have to use your Google Plus to leave comments on YouTube. You're gonna have to use your Google Plus to whatever. It's because Google has this ecosystem already, and they're already doing it on YouTube, and it's already annoying just for commenting. Imagine having to do all that stuff for the features we like on Twitch.
The thing that's interesting for Colin and I think is that we're speaking from a very specific case. In the frustration of people, I'm on Android, so I can't stream it. I'm not at a computer, so I can't look at your on-demand. It's all these different things for us with our show, right? For your huge Twitch streamers that have an audience and have subs and have all this, they probably don't look at it as enticingly as we do. Whereas for us, it's simple. If the YouTube app is going to let you stream it everywhere and be everywhere, and it's done and it ends and it goes right to on demand and it's silky smooth, that's big for us in the content we produce. I do think it's should be worrisome for Twitch in terms of what's going to happen from it.
I'd be very worried.
But I don't think it's necessarily as bad as we think it is. It's just maybe for us it is.
No, but I think they should be very worried. Because it goes both ways. Because we talk about YouTube is obviously owned by Google. They weren't always, but Amazon's one of those companies that can match them dollar for dollar for a lot of their investments, but just having that kind of blow by blow means that it's the company already with the advantages inherently that is going to win, and YouTube has a lot of the advantages already. So that's the only point I'm trying to make.
I hear you. No, I agree.
Is that YouTube is already winning, even though they're losing in the streaming thing. They're probably going to be fine.
Yeah, well, they're going to be fine no matter what, because it's really, no matter what way you look at it, they're winning already. Even right now, they're winning. It's just in the hardcore gamer's mind and stuff. Twitch is where they go to whatever.
And that's the thing is, I don't think you're going to see those people go away. The Twitch audience is such a different beast. Our audience is YouTube, Twitter, whatever. We brought them with us, but the Twitch audience that's already there and is already so used to sponsors and doing this and emoticons and private chat and this, that, and they're not going to worry. They're not going to miss a beat.
On the other side of it, it's
cases like us.
I'm one of the biggest YouTube fanboys in the damn world, but it's to me, it's I almost want Twitch to come out on top of this just so that it's not entirely controlled by Google and YouTube, just because I like the idea that they're not only just the competition, but just the fact that not all of the revenue coming in and not all of the audience, yes, you want your entire audience in one place. That's great, but it's like it's also nice to have different audiences in different places for different projects. And
That's what we do.
We have that. And,
we do, and we'll lose that. You know, if
we may. I mean, like this is my approach to this. Is like I want YouTube and Twitch to both talk to us, and I'm not meaning literally like sit us in a room and talk to us, but both of them need to talk to us as a company and make their pitches, and we go where where it makes the most sense.
Or both. Both is an option.
And that's the other thing too is that I my assumption is that we will eventually be doing both.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense for a lot of different reasons, certainly for business reasons. The bigger thing is, like we were saying before, just how they associate themselves with publishers and developers and organizations that stream games, like the whole esports thing. Like I don't understand esports really. I don't understand why it's even called esports. But like this is
electronic sport.
I know, but it's not a sport. Like playing mobile or Call of Duty is not a sport, right? But like this is a big thing that
shots fired.
This is a big. It's not a sport. I play chess. It's not a sport.
Shots fired or facts fired?
Oh,
like it's but like like playing football is a sport. I mean, just by definition, like these are competitive video games, which doesn't detract them.
So a team-based activity.
Anyway,
team-based activity.
I like that.
Like whatever you
That
want to call it,
sounds
competitive video gaming, whatever it is. It doesn't mean it's not fun or good or that people aren't good at it. I just don't understand why it's called esports. That's an entirely different thing, and I've wondered that for years. But yeah, like there's these big groups of people that they have to just figure out how to crack or whatever. I mean, obviously, like we pull good numbers on Colin and Greg, but it's like nothing like. When I tune in to watch League of Legends or something like that, just to see what I don't even know what the fuck's going on in League of Legends, but like I just like to see the numbers. I'm like, holy Christ, there's like 250,000 people watching this. I mean, that's more people watching that at that moment than is watching like a syndicated daytime TV show like Maury Povich or something. Like, that's incredible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the scale's there and the money can be made on Twitch for sure. But this has all the signs of YouTube like planning something huge, and they're being very clear about it. I mean, they're not trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
If I was them, I would actually try to hide it.
I mean, the thing that's interesting to me is they've already launched it, and like it sucks because it's like I want Google to just be fucking perfect because in so many ways they've done so much things right. Email, fuck yeah, Gmail's awesome.
Yeah, Gmail.
YouTube overall is fucking awesome. Then there's a couple things like Google Plus where it's like, what are you thinking? Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Even Google has to fail sometimes, which is nice to see that.
But it's weird, though. It's weird that, like, I feel like...
They just feel like they have to be
There's been a ton of different things, not recently, but, like, in the past, like, 10 years that's just like, oh, man, why wasn't that as cool as it should have been? I mean, Drive's awesome, but it still has its issues.
Yeah, to me, it's that they just try to do... Google has very few new ideas. They just have money to go in and buy other people's products and refine them. Like YouTube was started on its own. They bought YouTube and made it better. Gmail is not the original email client. It's just a superior email client. Like Google Plus was supposed to be Facebook. Like, so like, it's not like they're not coming up with new ideas. Google Maps is awesome, but it was not the first digital map program. Mm-hmm. So it's like, they don't come up really with a ton of new ideas. They come up with ways to improve upon them. It reminds me of, what was that, BASF, remember those old commercials for BASF? They're like this really weird, huge company that doesn't make anything. They just make the products better. And their commercials used to be like, we don't make the vacuum you use. We make it stronger.
Yeah.
We don't make the concrete you build with. We make it, we make it, we make it more, viable, whatever like that. Like, so, and that's like, that reminds me of Google, where like they're inventive and they're ingenious, but their genius is actually in finding things that they're bad at that other people are good at, and then copying those things or doing their own version of it. And it's not always going to work. And I like that it doesn't always work. Google Plus is a disaster. I mean, like the reason that its numbers are so high, like Greg has like 2 million people on it, or whatever, is because it's like totally fucking ridiculous. Like, it's not because people are on Facebook. That is that, and people are on Twitter, so they're not going to try to copy Twitter. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll try to buy them one day, and although I guess Twitter's public, so that's not really going to happen. And they came up with like a Gmail client that works, or whatever. So they're going to have their wins and their losses, but they I guess what I'm saying is that I have every confidence that what they're going to do with YouTube is going to make it way better. And they're going to learn a great deal from what they didn't do already. And they tried to buy Twitch, so it's not like they knew what they wanted, and since they couldn't have it, they're just going to make it. Yeah, no,
for sure. And I mean, I agree with you completely. I do think that it's going to be awesome. It's just like, it scares me that they've already had a live product, and they've had a live product forever, and it wasn't perfect. Like, it wasn't, and even this is when Twitch was existing. It's not like Twitch just came up out of nowhere. Like, Twitch has been around a couple years now. So it's interesting they haven't already adopted those changes. But at the same time, like, there's no reference to YouTube Live anymore on the front page. Like, that used to be like a big featured thing. And like, I can't remember the last time I saw it. Unless it was like an actual live event going on at that
sure.
moment.
They're probably going dark. which makes
So
makes sense.
that's really interesting. And earlier you were saying, Greg, that they got all this Amazon money, so like the things aren't being fixed. I think it's just too early. Like it takes time to spend money, and like it takes time to like make that.
But I mean,
stuff
like,
happen.
I think about VidCon and I think about how YouTube communicates everything, right? And like, I would just something like they're just radio silent on the issues people have with their site and their apps and everything else. And it gives you the. I mean, that's the biggest threat. Is that YouTube's going to have this press conference or whatever they're going to do, and they're going to say, "Look at this, it's all this, it does this, it does," and then Twitch, no matter what their next step is they are playing catch up.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been working on our thing too. Android guys, you're going to get it soon. On demand's getting. It's just by that point, it's like, well, are you going to be here by the time they just said they're going to be here?
Well, Twitch is very much about their community. So what they do instead is just have they have like conferences at like PAX and stuff, and then they have just everyone there come up and ask questions.
Well, now they have TwitchCon.
But now they have TwitchCon coming up. But the issue there is that people just end up coming up to ask questions like tech issues, which they shouldn't be answering that. They should be just talking about like how they're going to improve the
Like a
platform.
roadmap.
Yeah, which they did a couple conferences back, but now it's more just like, oh, I have problems with this. Why isn't this working? And then they answer that. So, I don't know.
It's just that we need a platform as a business that, and same with Alfredo now that he's struck out on his own, is like, we live and die now by the way these things work.
Yep.
And my patience with Twitch is actually diminishing pretty rapidly. So like, I'm just eager to see what happens, to see if like I'm not going anywhere. I like Twitch and they've been good to us.
We have a great community. They're great people. They're helpful to us. I'm not trying to put down Twitch.
No, not at all. But like, we need it to just work.
Yeah.
You know, and like that is, it frankly shouldn't be that complicated. Like,
But there's also
I'm not an
cost
engineer,
involved.
but come on.
There's a cost involved with that though, and that's I think my biggest worry with YouTube is known for 50%. Like they'll just fucking take 50%. It's like, yeah, it works. Deal with it.
Good point.
You're gonna go somewhere else, and it's like Twitch, because they're playing catch up. It's like, hey, we'll give you a little bit more. We'll work with you a little bit more. We'll promote you a little bit more. Like it's
Sure.
all these
That's a
things
great
that
point.
like. It's just interesting. I don't know, but I'm very excited. Like I'm more excited for this E3 than I've been for E3 in a long time.
Because of this YouTube
Just because
thing.
of this.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. This could be like, I mean, obviously I'm very invested because of what we do and stuff,
Yeah.
but also just as a fan of content. Like this, I love this. This is a fucking like huge fuck you to Twitch, which is great because then Twitch is gonna say, we got a
you.
bigger dick than you do though.
That's all I want.
You just want to see the dicks.
I love what's happening with us on Twitch. I love that they are the underdog. They're the renegades. If you want to play music, fine. We'll get you in the back end, but we're not going to get you while you're live or anything great. Just fucking fix the on-demand, fix stability. Like, just that's all I want you to do. Just do that and make, recognize and admit that you hear us. You know what I mean? I don't feel like we're being heard in that one sense. You know what I mean? Like, where is the solution to that? What is the roadmap? That's all I want from them.
Yeah,
If they say that before or right after, I'll be fine.
It's a similar thing we talk about with like, I am loyal to the people. Like you dance with the one who brought you, right?
Yeah.
Like I have an inherent loyalty to the people that were there when we were, I don't want to say small or whatever, because we're small still. We're very small, like fly by night outfit. But like
Before we
were like really anything at all, like it was the people that were there that helped us. Whether it's whether it's our representatives that help us on YouTube, or whether it's YouTube itself, or whether it's Twitch now. Like I am actually very loyal to the people that were there when we were more and more insignificant, because I think they were there to help us. And so it's funny because if there's a scale and YouTube and Twitch are on it, and Twitch is just a little bit lower than YouTube, I'll actually still go with Twitch. You know what I mean? Because they were really there for us. But if it's gonna be like this, then you got to make the choice that's best for your business. And like frankly, it's dollars and cents to us right now, because we need, like, if we lose out on Colin and Greg one day because Twitch isn't up, we're losing money. I mean, it's money. We're eating it, you know? And so there is a business reality to it, too. Not only a loyalty, kind of thing to it, but...
Well, and then just the loyalty to the fans. It's like when the Twitch is out and it's like, the show's not there, we get 4,000, 5,000 people waiting to watch the show, and it's not there.
And then we go and do it on YouTube, and then every 4 minutes, someone's asking the chat, "Where are you guys seeing it?" Because they just, there's no way to put.
Well,
like,
that's
we're
how
over on
live
YouTube.
works.
Yeah,
You know? So.
And it's funny too. I mean, the other things we have to look at is like when we did do that one episode on YouTube, it did and is still doing extraordinarily well. And it's like, wow, like that video on demand component is essential. So I think that's the thing that they really, I agree with you. They have to fix that. But that's I'm most interested. I'm not interested in what they're even going to say. I'm interested in who they're going to say it with. Yeah. I do not think they're going to do their own conference.
Nintendo.
There is a very rigorous way to do things at YouTube. People always wonder, like, why does Sony always go last on Sunday? Because Sony always goes last on Sunday. There is a tradition, like all the publishers go in order, and that order has been chosen a long time ago. I have no idea how the fuck it happened. It mostly probably has to do with the times and spaces in which they locked down for 10 years or whatever when they, originally to the Coliseum or whatever the fuck they were doing it. And where does YouTube fit into that? Who knows? Bethesda had to go the day before because they can't even fit into that schedule
Yeah, they
because
can't
it's
worm
locked.
their way.
So it would make sense for YouTube to do it on their own, but I think it would make sense for these other companies to entice them to do it with them. Even if YouTube is not, it reminds me of like Batman, right? Like a game like Batman is at PS4's conference, right? Last year.
Sure.
But it's coming the same day to Xbox
Yeah.
One. It just makes Sony look like they have a huge dick.
Yeah.
And I think that if YouTube like does the same thing where they're like, oh, we're going to go with Microsoft, even though it's going to come to Sony platforms and Nintendo
Yeah.
or whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like it still makes Microsoft look like they're a power
Yeah.
player.
I would love that, man. I really hope that is what happens. At the same time, the wording on this is interesting because there's been many years that during E3, Apple's WWDC events happening at the exact same time, but it's not at E3. It's like NSF. And the fact that they're saying they're at E3 is interesting. It's not during E3. It's at E3. So I hope that they're at one of the conferences. I don't think they'll do their own thing.
No, because first of all, I think that people are going to be interested and they're going to go, but journalists and media are already spread thin. Everyone already hates that Sunday anyway and that Monday, for like just logistical reasons. So adding another stop on the fucking tour of misery for all these people that have to go to all these different things is like not going to be very helpful.
Sure.
Another option is to take the Nintendo Direct route and just put a YouTube video up.
Yeah.
During E3.
They should do a Twitch live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
And then be
cool.
like, look, you see how it's not working right?